Hello and welcome to the webinar. In this webinar, we will discuss regarding SAP HANA and SAP HANA Cloud Platform and how to connect SAP HANA Cloud with third-party applications. Along with me in this webinar is Ijaz from Vion Consulting, who is our close partner, and this webinar is organized by Apps Connect, which is an integration platform offered as a service. We connect enterprise business applications with each other. So now I will pass the control to Ijaz, who will be the presenter of the session. Ijaz, are you able to hear me?
Yeah. Hello, Shirajit.
Ijaz, there is an echo from your side. So if there are multiple logins, I think we can keep one login. You can disconnect from one login and continue from the other.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, is it better now?
Yeah, this is fine. Please go ahead.
Okay.
And just for you'd like to remind all the attendees that we'll have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So if you have any question in mind, kindly write it down in the question pane, which you can see in the GoToWebinar control panel. And at the end of the webinar, we will discuss and we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. Over to Ijaz.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome everyone. In today's session, we will be looking at on the scope of connecting SAP HANA Cloud Platform with a third-party application, and we will run through a sample code where we will be connecting, we will be registering with SAP HANA and connecting the newly registered account with a PHP code. So to start with, I'd like to introduce our organization, Beyond Consulting. So we have Beyond Consulting has started. It was established and started as an open source solution provider. We started with CRM and we moved forward with providing solutions for ERP and e-commerce also. In this process, the organization's objective was to provide the service seekers to maximize their ROIs, and in the flow we have come in contact in partnership with Apps Connect. With the help of Apps Connect, now we are into integration process also, along with providing solutions for ERP and e-commerce. And in integration, we are currently running on SAP ECC integrations, SAP B1 integrations. In these integrations, we have gone through multiple kind of integrations. Most successful one was in between SAP ECC Magento, SAP B1 and Salesforce, and SAP B1 and Marketing Cloud. So this was part of our introduction to our organization. So in today's topic, we will be, as we all know, we will be discussing about HANA and a third-party application. So for this presentation, we have chosen PHP as the platform for the third-party application. We already know HANA is basically most commonly known as SAP HANA. Okay, now HANA is a database which employs the hardware and software processes to make out a real-time in-memory computing process to provide enhanced analytical process and reporting processes. Other than that, there are a few more features HANA provides, that is an OLTP and OLAP, that means row-based row-based database structure and column-based database structure. Mostly HANA is most renownedly known for being a column-based data structure, where a read process is much more highly required and influenced in the process. And we can very well understand that For the reporting and analytical purpose, database read process is more important here. So HANA is one such technology which provides such combined features, good of the two worlds. Then PHP, we all know, it is one of the most general purpose scripting language for web currently in use. Okay, it is one of the most easily learnable, most easily deployable, and most easily developed web scripting language. Okay, it provides those eases, and because of this ease, usually a mid-level organization prefer PHP. Other than that, uh, PHP until now, as we know, is mostly related with MySQL or Mongodb. Okay, but in this application, we are going a little bit forward and moving it to, will be showing up a small sample code where we'll be connecting it with HANA. So for this demo purpose, we will be looking for HANA Cloud Platform, and I will be showing how to register for the HANA Cloud Platform. So there is a correlation. This is just a slide where I am trying to put up what are the two best things and how HANA and PHP can be correlated. As I have already told, HANA is one of the best of the class for handling huge data sets for reporting and analytical purpose, whereas PHP is one of the web server scripts available for easy development and deployment. HANA on HANA side, usually it is understanding that it is mostly related with SAP, not exactly to be true. And for PHP, analytical purpose or huge data processing is a point of pain. So, in if we can see here, we see that PHP is an interpreted language, slow on analytical side, whereas HANA is providing that as an inbuilt process by higher table read uh, facilities. So using this facility, PHP and HANA can be correlated. If we have to look into the real-time environments, we can see there are multiple e-commerce websites that are basically developed in PHP, and they inherit the all the benefits of easy development and cons of slow interpretation with it. So over the time, when these e-commerce platforms are grow in size, that is grow in data, when there are multiple products added, multiple transaction details added, the analytical process that is running over the PHP web script goes slow. Uh, so in this way, PHP can be helpful for many sites where huge data sets are needed, and in this way PHP and HANA can be helpful to each other. Benefit of connecting HANA and over PHP. So as I have already told in earlier also, that for PHP huge data set is a problem, is a pain area. So if data set, so this data set handling part is handed over to HANA. It can be handed over to HANA, and HANA will take care of the read and write processes, especially when it comes to concurrent logins, for which is very much common scenario for e-commerce websites, where a large number of people may be logging in simultaneously, maybe because of season sale or some offer. So this kind of scenarios can be handled very well over when PHP is used with HANA. Okay. Then over the time when report generation is needed, that also can be benefited over HANA, where PHP would be requesting the data set and generating only the front end view, and HANA will be providing us the reports. At this point, I am just saying over the provided details. We are here to try with ourselves. So this brings us to the process of how it is to be done. Okay. So in this process, I'd like to introduce a few things here. So a registration process will be a cloud-based registration process, is as regular as registering for an email account. On prepping and for this demo, we are using a Windows environment. So I will be showing on how to prep up the Windows environment. The Windows environment here will be involving the installation of ODBC to connect with HANA Cloud Platform, setting up the DSN, and finally to provide access to the PHP code, how to generate a tunnel. So these three steps will, after completion of these three steps, the preparation of Windows environment will be ready. For the PHP script, I have a sample code where I will explain you step by step what individual things are and why they are as it seems. Okay, so let's start with the process. So let's go to HANA. So we are going for HANA Cloud installation. HANA. So I'm going to register on-demand trial account. So the account URL for me here is account.hanatrial.ondemand.com. Okay. Now looks like my earlier. Yeah. So in this case, my earlier login has come up as usual. So I'm taking you through the login process. As simple as that. We are saying email, I want, no telephonic, I acknowledge and I accept the conditions and register. So as easy as that for registering on Cloud HANA platform. Okay, so I am supposed to receive an email. Okay, so at the other end, I have received my email and I have activated it. So we'll again go back to the same page. Sorry, this would be on demand. So this time I will be logging in with the newly registered email ID. Okay, so this is the email ID I used to register, and we are logging. So yeah. As you have already noticed in the front screen also, what HANA calls its environment is cockpit, and it is same written here in the top, SAP Cloud Platform cockpit. Here it is showing me my trial account. Okay, so we get into the trial account. Okay. So at this point, we are in our cockpit environment. This is a trial environment. So it is hosted in Europe ROT. This is the account detail P194279765 trial. This is my account name. There will be other details and we'll be coming up to them when working with the PHP code. So at this point, our objective is to set up the database or schema environment to be accessed that can be tested. Okay, so here, here we are, databases and schema. I'm saying a new demo. Let's make it too small for faster. Okay, so now our demo environment is demo database environment is ready. Schema. Okay, so at this point, our our HANA cloud environment setup is completed. That was step one. Now, step two will involve preparing up the Windows environment. So, in the meantime, just let me get the environment. There are two particular HANA or ODBC drivers that can be that are possible. One is 64-bit and another is 32-bit. The use of this, which one would be preferable to your environment will depend upon the application that is going to connect to the HANA. If the application that is going to be connected to HANA is 32-bit environment, is a 32-bit application, we have to go for a 32-bit HANA installation. And if it is a 64-bit, then a 64-bit HANA installation. HANA installation here is rather easy. It is a simple step. I will be just showing the up to the last step and not installing it, as it is already installed on my system. And from that point, we will proceed to the next steps. So it is the HANA environment. It is available on the cloud. It is named as SAP HANA Client. So installation. So this will open up a command prompt, which will take care of the HANA installation here. Okay. So in this case, it is HANA suggests that the HANA driver should be installed within the program files or program 86 files, uh, so that these applications and drivers are easily accessible. So here we it is already here. So here we can see that my two versions of installation, 32-bit and 64-bit, are already listed here as number 1 and number 2. Okay, and it is giving me option to install number 3 client. So I'll take you further steps for installation. So this is number 3. I'm choosing to install new database client. Okay, now it is simply asking me to install SAP HANA. Okay, in the most simplest of steps I can do is I can just simply type the path here, or I can copy it from my Windows Explorer. Let me take you to the path. Oh. Program files, SAP HANA, and HTTP client 32. So I will simply copy this. I can simply copy it and I paste it. As soon as I press enter after this, it will start the installation of the driver, and rest of the steps will be taken care of by the application itself. And I will be avoiding this part. So this is the only step required for the HANA ODBC installation. Okay. So skipping this part. Next we go to next part would be the 30 to set up the DSN steps. Okay. To set up DSN steps for Windows 64 environment, it is simply just go to your Windows environment, set up ODBC. Sorry, ODBC. So it will open up the data source application. Go in there, and in the drivers list, your HDB, HANA DB, ODBC will be listed. You just have to come into the system DSN environment, add, select HANA ODBC driver, set up the database name, preferably same as HDB ODBC, that is the name of the driver, so that it is easy to trace, and provide local server and port. So right now, since I am not working with 64 environment, so I will come and repeat it with the 32 database environment. So I exit it. For a 32-bit environment, to set up a ODBC environment for a 32-bit application in a 64-bit environment, that is, my operating system is currently a 64-bit environment system. So I have to come to RAM files. So here we have to come in C drive, Windows, System Wow 64, and we have to search for ODBC. So ODBC cap 32. This is our environment. Okay. So here same steps. We come to drivers. Here we can see there is a much larger list than HANA 64-bit environment. Okay. In my case, name is HDB ODBC 32. Okay. So I go to the steps, system DSN. I am same step, add, but in this case, since it is already existing, I am putting up configure. So here in this case, we can notice I have put the same source name as was my driver name, just for easy reference. You can choose any name you want. Okay. Here, then a simple description specifying that it is a 32-bit. In the server and port, that is important. For the server, in our case, since we are going to use tunnel to connect to the cloud environment, we are using localhost. Okay, and port to connect to the HANA Cloud environment will be 30,015 30015. Okay, simply we can we cannot connect. So you just have to save it here, and that will complete the DSN setup process. Now, last process for the, setting up the environment would be opening up the tunnel. For setting up the tunnel, we are going to use a Neo environment, Neo ODBC connector client. So to use that, we have to go to command prompt. So let me redirect to the application here. I have by default installed this tool, Java tool, in my HT docs just for easy reference. There is no such restriction as to where this application is to be kept. You can keep it anywhere in C drive or D drive of your choice. So here we go. So next part is this. At this point, we are in the application and we can invoke a tunnel to connect to the new environment. So from this part, we are in the development phase. But right now we have not effectively connected a tunnel between our application or environment and the HANA Cloud portal. So to do that, we have to provide a command. I have a copy of command here. Here we are giving a command to new application to open a DB tunnel. Okay. For DB tunnel for, okay, so in our case, the DB environment name is demo. Okay, and we have to get our own account ID and user ID. So here we are. So here we can see. So I'm come here. I'm just copying it here. 194279765. 1942 7976 797658. I hope I have copied it correctly. 1942797658. Okay, and same goes for my account name. So here our command is ready. Here we are saying new Java application to open up a DB tunnel for the database demo related to the account. This is our account name over HANA trial on demand for the username this. So let's try. Oh, my bad. So if we have provided a correct credentials, it will ask us for the password that has come up. So I have provided the password, and as usual, command prompt cursor doesn't move when we are providing a password. So let's see. At this point, we can have a few important things with us. So we have successfully opened up a tunnel, and these were the details to connect our application through the tunnel. Since we are going to use these details into our application, I'm just simply copying them into a notepad environment where I can easily access it. Okay. So next lines, and to make it look better, yeah. So here in this environment, our DB tunnel is open. In this environment, we are already, as it the details already provides, The host name to connect to the environment will be localhost, and the complete URL, ODBC URL, will be something like this. Some server and port we have already, as was already shared while setting up the DSN environment, would be localhost colon 30,015. Okay, and this is our connection details. So schema name here refers to our demo database schema. Since it is in shared cloud environment, it has come out this way. Our username to connect to the environment and password. So at this moment, we are ready to connect to the our HANA cloud environment and proceed with the process for creating a few tables and providing processing them. So here is my small script here. In this script, I have a few commands already written. Okay, these commands are drop table, create column table, uh, then to insert into the column table, and then process it. And by process, I means to select the data from the column table and show it as a HTML table in the front end. Okay. So I'll be taking you through. So in any of the ODBC connections, as we start, most important will be to get the connection details. So here there are four things needed when we are connecting to ODBC: the driver that is to be used, the username, password, and the flag to use ODBC. So I have set these up as constants up here for easy reference. Okay, so let's get our data from our tunnel details into our coding environment. As I have already shown you, I have copied all these details, this login details into my notepad. So I'll be explaining them in this process. So localhost is taken care of. So few things we will be needing is a username. So let's copy it here. So name, password, and schema name. Okay. So at this point, we are ready for the process. Anyhow, just before we begin it, I just want to show you the HANA queries that would be generated. So I am commenting this. I am commenting this code. Okay. Let's go to cloud and open our application. Okay. So I need to uncomment this so that it is better readable. Okay. So here is our finally generated code. Here we see there is a command for drop table. Okay. Then there is a command for create column table. It will have three columns. First is an ID of integer type. Second is a column named server instance ID. It is a string type with length 30. Then a timestamp. And in the create process, we have also specified that ID will be the primary key for the table. This is a sample insert key process. Okay. It will not be as effective as it is shown here, but this is a sample to for the reference purpose. Then there is a select table that would be generated. In this process, one thing important to be noticed is that tables name are not simply referred as table name; they are to be referred within with the schema name. That is one important thing. Number two is for data types while creating the column table or table. Okay, so data types are not as regular MySQL, such as long date, and there are many other as var binary and other data types that are not regular with HANA. So when we are planning to move our or connect our existing application with HANA, we have to take care of this part, that SQL should be converted into a HANA compatible format. Okay, so at this point it is just I have shown only the existing queries. So let's proceed and create the table. So right now I don't want to drop the table. So in this code we are simply connecting ODBC details with reference to this with respect to a 32-bit driver with a newly tunnel generated username and password over the ODBC SQL use. Okay. And in this code, we will be inserting 10 rows of data, and the same will be later on fetched and shown as the table in the front end. That would be our browser here. So this is the data. Now, uh, this is a pretty fast process to be seen. Our table is created, and after that a table is inserted with data and then displayed in. Okay, to cross check this same details, I am going to proceed with one of the Eclipse plugin. The plugin is called SAP HANA Administration Console. Okay, so here what I am going to do is I am going to add the new environment, and I'll try to access it. Oh, it seems it has logged in. I need to log out from here. Log off. So, okay. So at this point, I will try to connect with my details. So add cloud system, user account name, as I have already told you, this string with my customer ID and trial is the account name. This provides our username and password. Many of you may have questioned that the username provided in the script and the username provided here are different ones, and you are exactly right with this. Thing is that the tunnel provides an encrypted process. I'm not sure what kind of encryption it is, or is it a security detail exactly, but it provides an encrypted process for the shared environment, and here there you have to provide the username and password generated by the tunnel. Whereas this application is a Java-based application, and it does this encryption part by itself. So we need to provide the username and password like this here. Okay. So right now I'm setting up the cloud environment. It will take a few minutes. So here we are. Right now it is listing only demo environment, the only one we have created. So we have instructed the application to get all the details from cloud to be demonstrated here. So you get to content. sorry, not content, but catalog. So in catalog, all the data will be listed. Here is our schema. All the schemas are referred as neo, and all the user names are referred as dev. So in our schema, we are referring to tables. Uh, okay, so here is our table, and we can request for a data preview. Using this code, using this code, we can see we have created a few data. So we can go for another round here. So in this round, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the table from demo table to demo table 2. Okay, and server instance to server. It is just a simple round, and we execute it. Unfortunately, to okay. Unfortunately, what happens is once our console application here, HANA administrative console application connects, it automatically overtakes our console application here, and it has closed. So no matter, it's a matter of few minutes. So these were the few things that I wanted to explain to you. Yeah, just make a quick. So here we will need only the password to execute it. Okay, and we copy the password. Come here, replace the password, save it, and let's execute it this time. Okay, it has shown up. And unfortunately, since only one of the tunnels can exist, we have to log off from here and connect again. Same procedure, catalog, schema, tables. Looks like it has to refresh. Okay, so let's go to the furthers. So in this way, we can, I have shown how we can connect to from PHP to HANA. So now we can proceed this further. and we can discuss. We can make out as we can make out what we can gain from the this integration. We have already discussed this few of these things that PHP websites which have a large footfall, they can get a better response and analytical behavior using the analytical applications provided by HANA. A better responsive website by the OLAP structure of HANA, and better reporting. Uh, Better reporting can be employed over the web or can be displayed over the web using the HANA platform. By this, I would like to conclude that by connecting a third party application such as PHP based applications by connecting to HANA, we can accelerate the overall performance of a very heavy database websites, improve the overall client satisfaction, which may also add to increased ranking in the search engines and improved response for the web users. So that is to conclude my presentation today. Thank you. Now we are open to the Q&As if you have any.
Yeah, Ajaz, we already received some questions, so I'd like to just start with those first. And
Yeah.
I'd like to request the attendees that if you have any more questions, kindly you can type it down in the questions pane at the GoToWebinar. So the first question is, why is HANA fast as compared to other databases?
Okay. So HANA being fast is because of the architecture. We very well know that in the past decades, the speed of the computing engine, that would be our processors, that has increased. Speed of our RAMs have increased. Bandwidth for our networks have increased. But the overall speed for the hard disk, the main source of the data, I mean central space of the data, that has not increased so much. Okay. Whereas most of our databases depend upon them. So HANA is an architecture where most of the data is maintained in the in memory, that is in the RAM space. Okay, and since the RAM space is already faster, a better fast response can be achieved using HANA architecture.
Okay. Next question is, isn't HANA meant for only SAP applications?
Yeah. For that, I like to. I have all. Okay. So for that part, we when we talk about HANA, it is most commonly referred as SAP HANA. Okay, giving us intuition that HANA is a SAP based application, and it is usually it is only to connect with SAP applications. But the correct thing is HANA was individually and independently developed for as a database only. Okay, and the core objective for this database was a faster database retrieve and read process for a huge set of data for analytical purposes. Okay. So just and so right now this we many are people who already know that it is not a SAP specific database. They are already using it with their application, and they are employing the fast speed and high speed analytics of HANA with their applications.
Okay. Next question is it true that HANA is column based? If so, how is it different from MongoDB?
Okay. Yeah. So it is a common understanding here that MongoDB is sorry. The common understanding here is that column-based database applications are much faster than a row-based database application. Okay, and HANA being very fast is already assuming that it is a column-based application, but that would not be correct. HANA employs both row-based structure and column-based structure, also known as OLAP and OLTP. Okay, that would be higher technical terms. We'll just refer to them as row-based and column-based. So HANA provides the solution for both the environments, but it suggests that if you have a high read table, means a table where a read process will be much higher, better to use a column-based structure. And if it is a high write kind of table, then use a row-based structure.
Okay.
So saying that HANA is strictly column-based is not an appropriate.
Okay. Another question is, what steps would be involved in migrating an application to HANA?
Okay. Yeah. So as of now, we are still in our early stages. But what we can see from our knowledge until now, that HANA SQL structure, HANA query structure is a bit different than the regular other databases. In other databases, either it is strictly column or row-based structure, whereas HANA provides you to create a table as you require. Okay. So here we a decision making falls in where whether what kind of table you want to make want. That is number one. Number two is data type. Number three would data types as such as I have already explained in my earlier session. So, and number three would be the overall SQL structure. Here in HANA, it is highly suggested and means kind of also force that a select star query should be avoided. Okay, so these kind of changes will be there. So if someone is planning for moving and his existing application from one of the DB to HANA, then they have to look for how the query is generated and they have to make the queries HANA compatible.
Okay. Uh, Next question is it possible to run an application on traditional database while the reporting is on HANA?
Uh, yeah, the answer would be yes to it. It is possible. Uh, However, in this case, there would be a little extra effort on the database team, as they have to maintain a replica of data in both the databases. Okay, which can normally be achieved using triggers in one in the base database. Okay, and HANA then over can be used will be using the copy of the data and generating the report.
Okay.
Okay. Any
Okay.
other question?
So yeah, so we'll be taking another question after this. So if you have any question in mind, kindly type it down here, or else we'll be closing the session after this question. So next question is, you mentioned HANA has both row and column store. Kindly explain when to use either.
Okay. I believe I have answered that already, but just to put up the question, just to clarify again. Okay. The decision, or better to say, the thumb rule for defining whether a given table should be row structured or column structured should be basic solely upon the decision whether the data in that particular table will be mostly read type or write type. For example, logs table, okay, they will not be read as frequently as users table or login table. Okay, so if you are maintaining logs, then it should be a row based where a high write possibility is open. And if you are using sessions or login details, then you should be using a column-based structure for a high read process. Okay.
Okay. Okay, Jazz, there is no questions further, and I think we can close our session for today. Thank you for
Okay.
your time, and I would like to, thank all the attendees to join in this session. Would like to wish all a nice day or a nice evening ahead. Thanks.
Thanks, Shivajit. Thanks, everyone.